The imposing facade of the university hospital loomed before him, a sterile monolith under a vast, uncaring sky. A diagnosis echoed in his mind, a chilling pronouncement of a rare, unnamed disease. The doctor's words were a heavy shroud, promising a new medical term, coined at the expense of his life. A life cruelly truncated to a mere half year. The words were heavy. The pronouncement left him breathless. He stumbled through the faceless crowds, a ghost already haunting the edges of a world he was soon to depart. Each echoing beep of the crossing signal was a mocking reminder of his limited time, a stark contrast to the years he had diligently toiled, believing his efforts were finally bearing fruit. All his work, the constant grind, felt useless. Someone shoved him, a sharp reprimand to remove himself from the road, a danger he no longer feared. He felt numb, unfazed by the danger. His knees met the cold, unforgiving pavement. The lottery ticket, a symbol of a future, now cruelly snatched away, clutched tightly in his hand. What was it all for? Especially when he won the lottery jackpot. A desperate plea escaped his lips, a raw primal scream against the dying light, begging for salvation from an indifferent universe. Anyone he needed to live. He did not want to die. Consciousness returned not as himself, but as something else. A skeletal figure, bald and imposing, stood amidst a scene of otherworldly carnage. A battlefield strewn with the grotesque remains of demonic creatures. He saw them, the monsters. They were closing in. He reveled in the slaughter, a grim satisfaction in his bony grin, as he laid waste to his foes. They would die, each and every one of them. The last of the rebellious forces fell, their monstrous forms reduced to lifeless heaps. He saw one of them charging at him. He dodges and slices the beast. Finally, it was over. He had done it. Time to end it. They fall, the last of them. He watches the monster as it dies. With this, his extermination of the rebellion was complete. From an inferior summon, a mere skeleton, he had ascended, evolving into an undead lich, a sovereign of the demon kind. He had led them to prosperity, rescuing them from the brink of ruin, earning their fervent, if mispronounced, praise. He might not have hair, but he was their king Isaac. Yet beneath the applause and the echoing cheers of King Isaac, a deep-seated resentment simmered. He was Isaac, a name his loyal subject seemed incapable of uttering correctly. With a dismissive flick of his wrist, he turned his back on them, seeking not their hollow praise, but the fulfillment of a broken promise. His ultimate desire was to reclaim his humanity, to feel the warmth of the sun and the sting of pain, to experience life in its fullest, most visceral form. His journey led him to the divine realm, a celestial court, where beings of immense power held court. He could hear them, their sneers and taunts. He approaches them. He had fulfilled his end of the bargain, quelling the factions that challenged their divine authority. Whispers followed him, betraying the gods' disdain and their surprise at his swift success. Their whispers were not lost on him. He heard their treachery, their plan to bind him to eternal servitude. They had promised to restore his humanity, a promise they now seemed reluctant to keep. He pressed them, demanding the fulfillment of their oath. Their suggestion of another task, another errand to further their divine agenda, was met with a chilling grin that stretched across his skeletal visage. They questioned his sanity, his audacity to challenge them. Unaware of the depth of his resolve, they dared to mock him. He was a being born of forbidden arts, unburdened by natural laws, unkillable, a threat even to their celestial realm. And if they refused to grant him his humanity, they would face the consequences. Their pleas for time, their desperate attempts to bargain fell on deaf ears. For their betrayal, he demanded a heavy price, their lives. With a malevolent laugh, he unleashed his fury, a storm of dark energy that consumed the divine court. They screamed, he laughed, but as he reveled in his vengeance, a strange sensation washed over him. His mana, the source of his power, was fading. He could not move. What was this? A voice, smug and self-assured, revealed the source of his sudden weakness. A holy artifact inscribed with his name, capable of immobilizing any being. They spoke of the one whose name was written in his act. Banished disaster. The highest class holy art was invoked, sealing his demonic essence within a lowly insect. He railed against the injustice, the indignity of his fate, limiting his captor's choice of such a repulsive form. Yet even as he raged, one of the gods questioned his obsession with his lost hair, a query that sparked a desperate act of defiance. They were surprised he could still act. Rather than succumb to this ignoble fate, he chose self-destruction, detonating his remaining power in a blinding explosion. He would rather die than become a bug. They could eat shit, everything exploded. It hurt the gods, reeling from the blast, confirmed the success of their spell. The Demon King's soul trapped within the insect. It was done, thank goodness. They had regained their power, their authority secure, but they remained wary, aware that another such threat could arise. They could not let their guard down. A plan was hatched to create a vessel, a saint in the human realm, to act as a bulwark against the demonic forces. They would exterminate every last demon. As for the insolent Demon King, his eternal torment as a bug was deemed a fitting punishment. They would make him pay for all of eternity. Lost in his despair, Isaac found himself in a new, unfamiliar world, bathed in an unusually bright light. He must have lost his mind. Being tricked by gods, why was it so bright? He felt warm and damp, why did he have hands? It was a human body in infant's form, a stark contrast to the skeletal figure he had been. Had the god's seal faltered? He was hailed as a saint, a holy one. His awakening celebrated by those around him. Yet their words held a sinister undertone, a wish for his continued slumber. He was human, but who were these people? And what was their role in his new life? A sense of unease settled upon him as they spoke of their duties, their need for him to return to sleep forever. This time, a bottle filled with a strange liquid was offered, a means to ensure his eternal rest. He had to wait. Was he supposed to die again? A man offered a bottle filled with a strange liquid, a means to ensure his eternal rest. He had to act fast. He swatted the bottle away. He glared at them. They were trying to put him to sleep forever. He would not drink it no matter what they tried. They questioned his refusal, surprised by the infant's resistance. He was human, but how they called him Isaac, a name that sparked a flicker of recognition. Was it his name Isaac? No, Isaac. That was it. Isaac was the other pronunciation of his name, Isaac. When they had used the spell Banish Disaster, they had written Isaac. That was why he was not sealed. He was reincarnated into a new body with the same name. They failed, and now he escaped their grasp, leaving them bewildered and struggling to contain the surprisingly strong infant. They forced the vile concoction down his throat, a disgusting vegetable juice that triggered a strange sensation. He could feel something, an ominous presence entering his body. The scene shifted to the opulent halls of the Holy Empire. Hello Central East Temple, a high-ranking official, a bishop approached, his demeanor one of calculated ambition. He spoke of a baby, a saint candidate whose demise was imminent. The Emperor of the Holy Empire, Hello Alexander Hello appeared, his presence commanding respect and deference. He looked regal as an emperor should. The officials greeted their emperor, their words laced with a hint of trepidation. The bishop explained his purpose. The need to greet the saint candidate of House Ashua, a holy figure whose presence was required. It was his duty as a bishop. The emperor dismissed the notion that the saint's presence was a burden. His gaze sharp and knowing, the bishop sensing an undercurrent of suspicion, wondered if something had gone wrong, something related to the saint candidate's care. A commotion erupted, a frantic announcement about the young master's unusual behavior. The young master was... They rushed towards the source of the disturbance, the emperor leading the way. What happened to the young master? A maid exclaimed in shock at the young master's unexpected vitality. The emperor was shocked. The infant, once on the brink of death, was now thriving, his chubby cheeks and bright eyes, a testament to his newfound health. He had consumed an impossible amount of the strange vegetable juice. Baffling the officials, it was not just juice. It was holy poison. A poison that should have been lethal. A few minutes ago, he felt something enter his body. He could feel something. This was how he felt as a baby. It was the holy poison. It was a devastating poison that destroys the holy power of the members of the clergy. However, this poison was made from the mano of demons, perfect for a former demon king. This was amazing. He could eat all the baby food he wanted. The infant's joyous cries filled the room, his demands for more of the poisonous concoction, surprising and perplexing those present. They were happy to give him more as he drank. It was a perfect manner of absorption, Now what should he do from now on? He needed to focus. He was in the unconscious world. At the deepest part of it, the source, he would create a manhwa. This was a safe place. He began to gather the mana he absorbed, shaping it into a core. He needed to put the mana he absorbed into the manhwa. He needed a mana core to use magic. But would it explode a mana? Core was supposed to be one of the 3 primary colors, but this was white. Why was it white? The color was not the problem. How could this much power be present in a core that was not fully formed? This was beyond his expectations. The power was immense. Just how many blessings were crammed into this young body? If he grew up well, he might be an even greater monster than he imagined. He felt a surge of power. Isaac. Survive. The desperate desire engraved deep within his soul. Survival in the end. That became the genesis of the Skeleton King. And he was able to create special, original buffs and skills. And Isaac, those spells were inherited by this body. They wondered if he was finally dead. He was not dead, yet he was alive and well. He wanted more bottles, even stronger ones. Back to the present. It was a relief that nothing bad happened. Although he was nearly assassinated. Nothing bad happened. Maybe he ate too much. No, he could not afford to be suspicious. He should just smile and act like he had no idea what was with this bastard. He should be dying, coughing up blood. But instead he was laughing. A few days prior at the headquarters of the Holy See, a man scoffed at the notion of a saint possessing the Holy Empire. He dismissed the noble families as pesky, declaring their children to be saints. Another man, a bishop, assured him that they were dealing with the other saint candidates. The first man, a cardinal, mentioned an unpleasant rumor he had heard. They said a saint candidate appeared from House of Shah, the emperor's right hand. There was nothing they could do about them. The cardinal shattered his wine glass. Spilling its contents, he callously remarked that the saint candidate probably died before they arrived, but he needed to verify the corpse. He had acted first to ensure his death. The saint could only come from his house buried. He was told the baby would be dead. So why was he still alive? This couldn't be happening. The emperor found the situation interesting, noting the child's shiny platinum blonde hair, the same color as the Holy Empire's founder. The bishop tried to intervene, but the emperor continued, suggesting that the child looked even closer to God than the current pope. So he was the emperor. He must be the final saint candidate. The baby was the saint candidate. No wonder they kept going saint. The emperor had taken a liking to the child, and the bishop realized he couldn't let this continue. He requested permission to inspect the child, citing something odd. There was no way a baby could finish that vegetable juice. What was so strange about a saint candidate? Eating monk food, how could he, the demon king, be the saint candidate? It was strange, but he was allowed to inspect the child until someone from House of Ashua arrived. The demonic energy he couldn't digest. Was he busted? The emperor noticed something. He sensed demonic energy from the child. How strange. He noticed this child might be a fake candidate, bearing mana. He must have an inquisitor investigate him immediately. How dare they speak of a saint candidate that way? There was no need for concern. The pope had already selected the child from house. Bear as the saint. The child from his own house as the saint. How shameless. So that was why he was trying to get rid of him now. Then he ordered the priest to bring an inquisitor with. House of Ashua was the imperial family's closest ally. He suggested reassessing the child at a later date. He understood he had spoken with the pope, who mentioned that he would hold the ceremony of investiture for the crown prince only after the saint selection. So he planned to refuse to officially recognize his son unless he agreed with his saint choice. Was this the Holy See's intention? Those petty sons of bitches. To be honest, he didn't want to remain a saint candidate. It was too risky, and his true identity could get revealed. Otherwise, they could inspect the child right now, using their holy exorcism art. Fine if he was truly human, then he would not be harmed. But if he was a demon, he would be exterminated. He cannot let them do that. Time to play along, but if he was a demon, he would be exterminated. That light. Could it be holy power? The boy must truly be the saint. That couldn't be. He sent some holy power from him. But this was what was this. It hurt. He continued to attack the bishop, using the bottles as weapons. He was relentless in his attack. This was definitely mana such brilliant. Like he would make the bottle even tougher, with strengthening magic and give him one last hit. While pretending to be an innocent baby, the bishop must be admiring his holy power. What was this? Every time he used mana, He sensed a faint amount of holy power as well. Mana and holy power were incompatible and couldn't normally be used together. This must have something to do with that. White mana core, he was shocked. He pledged with everything he was. This baby was a heretic. They must immediately use the holy exorcism art. He was a slimy piece of shit. He didn't plan on going this far. But why would you look at that? He was hiding something quite interesting here. It was a totem. He was shocked at the discovery. It was an artifact that utilized the characteristics of demons, who eat corpses of other demons to absorb their mana. A sealed high-ranking demon's corpse. In other words, a totem. He was keeping this totem on him at all times, to use against demons if he ever encountered them. How did this baby know about his totem? The bishop tried to escape. He could not believe it. This was all because he kept coming after him. Here are the consequences of his actions. He snapped his fingers. The bishop screamed. As the demonic energy erupts, "You filthy casual." The emperor accused Bishop Martha Barrett of his actions, questioning his sanity for letting a demon loose in the temple. The bishop, in his defense, claimed that it was the baby who threw the totem, an object used to seal a demon beast, and questioned how it came back to life. The emperor ordered all forces to protect the young lord from the wicked demon beast. And the bishop was shocked and confused. He laughed, knowing it was a joke. The soldiers were ready to see how good the bishop was. The demon within the bishop emerged, commanding them to kill the saint. He was confused. The demon was still commanding them to kill the saint. The soldiers prepared to protect the young lord. He wondered what was wrong with that thing, and why I was trying to attack him when he saved its life still. The paladin should be able to protect him. They struggled against the demon's power, questioning if the bishop was really a paladin. The demon continued its assault, urging them to save the captured king. He should probably subjugate it first. No one should notice him using magic. In a situation like this, why was everyone trying to kill him in this life? Even though he was the one who revitalized them, he managed to subdue the demon, surprising everyone with his power. They were shocked. Could he be the skeleton king? He was confused. He used his holy power to fend off the demon. The emperor was surprised. The demon was being fended off by the holy power. It was trying to escape. That was definitely holy power. Young Lord Isaac drove a greater demon out. It was amazing for someone so young. As expected of the young lord, this was definitely holy power. How'd he do it? He had run out of mana. Could it be that this strange body was turning his mana into holy power? How was he supposed to accumulate mana then? The Holy Empire already lacked mana. He was grabbed and told not to do that. That baby used the powers of demonkind. How dare he crawl into the Holy Empire? He would prove it to the emperor by uncovering his real identity. With an exorcism that was enough. How dare he accuse an innocent saint candidate and let a greater demon loose? Before the Imperial Knights, he would not let this matter go, even if they were from the Holy See. If the Emperor was suspicious, they would soon find out about the infiltrator. If that happened, the Holy See could also be in trouble. He had to take responsibility, even if he had to die, to save the lives of his family. That was why he had to kill the saint, candidate of House of Shu. This damn bastard was finally showing his true colors. Did he really think he could kill him with something like this weight? He didn't have any mana left. He was attacked by a holy wolf-like creature who dared to try to lay their hand on the direct lineage of Ashua. The sound of swords clashing filled the air. It was Blue Faith, the Ashua Knights. The seventh son of House Ashua, Relai Ashua, had arrived. He ordered the immediate execution of the bishop. He was told to unhand him and not to lay his dirty Ashua hands on it. Ashua, he felt like he had heard that before. He was told to show his manners. Greetings to the young master of House Ashua. They apologized for being late and commented on how they were better than the Imperial Knights. It wasn't much, but they brought a little present for him. Was it gold? A gold bar. It was a figurine of the skeleton king being beheaded. He looked at it confused. They also had one where the skeleton king was being burned to death, and another where the Sanis was crushing the skeleton king. The young master was so cute. So cute. How was he supposed to survive in a crazy house like this? The young master liked it. He liked it so much that he was crying. They marveled at how much the young lord enjoyed the figurine. His cry is a testament to his delight. How was he supposed to survive in this crazy family? He remembered the name of Shua. the saintess who had come to end him in a previous life. She was the 45th saintess XO of Ashua. No, the 61st saintess XO of Ashua. They were all named Ashua something. Not only was he a saint candidate, but he was also part of the saintly family. What wrongs did he commit in his past life? Damn, these Ashuas, they were accused of being heretical and bringing a creature into the temple. They were going to uncover its identity. To think they would bring that monster there. Ashua had gone insane. It would end the Ashua bloodline. He was struck down and told to be grateful for the benevolence of Ashua that spared his neck after spouting that nonsense. He was useful being slashed just because he insulted his family. Did he have the confidence to take on the Holy See? He told the young lord he had only heard something terrible and that he should only listen to and see. Good things you remember now. The blue Equus, they were pretty strong. His subordinates would freak out whenever they saw the blue ones. The Skeleton King's neck goes drop. They were told to stop it. Already it seemed he owed the boy a debt. He asked if he should tell the head of the house that the Imperial Palace wanted to raise the boy. His jokes were too much. Was he being scouted by the Imperial Palace? The Holy Empire would target the boy both internally and externally. While it was true that Ashua was powerful, did the blue faith of the present have what it took to protect the child? What was he talking about? The Pope especially would disapprove of the boy. His hair color was symbolic of the ancestors of the Holy Empire. Furthermore, the Skeleton King seemed to be after him. But he was the Skeleton King. Why would he be after himself? He apologized, explaining that the child was of the Ashua bloodline, so he must be raised by Ashuas. The Pope and the Skeleton King Ashuas could deal with it if they were able to meet the Skeleton King again. The previous saintess Melissa would be happy. How could he leave the direct descendant of the saintess Melissa to the Imperial Palace? Wait, Melissa. The Melissa that he fought right before he went to the divine realm. The crazy saint that was the toughest to deal with. So he was a saint candidate. Born in the saint's family, and on top of that, he was Melissa's direct descendant. Why was his life like this? What was a saint? The gods that lost to the Skeleton King every time wanted to win so badly. So they created a final weapon with all their efforts. A mage sent by the gods to smite evil. The lion of the battlefield that wields holy light. The greatest light of the Holy Empire and the highest ranking knight. Due to the overwhelming power of the saintess, people believed that the Skeleton King had seen his final days. Her attack and defense were close to that of the gods. She had cockroach-level survival. Self-destructed if needed. Got stronger with every generation. Was a goddess of beauty and had a very long life. However, the Skeleton King was merciless. He had never killed a saintess, and it wasn't good for him anyway. If a saintess died and the holy power went back to the gods, they could just send an upgraded next version saintess. But the last saintess, Melissa, was really strong. He almost died. And that Melissa was his ancestor. The saintess lived only for the destruction of the Skeleton King. Ashua produced those saintesses and carried out the will of the gods. They were a proud family. Ashua had the ability to protect this child. He was right. Numerous sanities had been martyred by the Skeleton King. He didn't kill a single one. The Skeleton King once banished a sanity to a labyrinth because he thought she wasn't good enough to fight. He let her go. Was it his fault? She was bad with directions. 5 of them died of stress-related diseases. They should have gone to the hospital. Then it was okay. They were thankful that he was born. And they only wished one thing from him. That he didn't grow up to be like the terrible Skeleton King. Parents that he didn't know. He was sorry that he was a bad person. He was asked to consider it again. As it had been 150 years since the Skeleton King had been sealed away. Was it that long in that case? Melissa should have died a long time ago. She was 50 when they last fought. The demons had become more powerful. In the meantime, the saint was a great asset for the Holy Empire to increase its power. So the boy was important to the Imperial Palace as well. Furthermore, there was no saintess in Ashua currently. It had been a year since the saintess gave birth to the boy and disappeared with the father. His mother was the saintess. That may be true. But the matriarch still lived, and Ashua could still protect the boy. Okay, let's get all the surprises out of the way now. He couldn't be more surprised than finding out his mother was a saintess. Wasn't Dame Melissa currently out to destroy the Skeleton King? Subordinates, she would return soon. And the matriarch was expecting her grandson as well. He was over 200 years old. Why was he still alive? Didn't he feel bad? It would take a lot of time before she was back. And the boy seemed a little weird. Was he okay? Would he be okay if he found out his greatest enemy was still alive? If he was found out by Melissa? He would be smited on the spot. Other people might be okay, but Melissa was just that dangerous. So to survive, he wanted to go with him. He wanted to go to the Imperial Palace as well, but he was just being clingy. The Imperial Palace could provide a lot for the young lord. Ashua may be experienced in producing sanities, but they had no experience in raising a saint, a boy. This child would become an exorcist knight that would vanquish evil. And Ashua was a family that produced the greatest exorcist knights. He was the first ever saint. So the Imperial Palace had no experience either. The Imperial Palace was better, but he would remain in Ashua. They were told to calm down or the young lord would be ripped in half. He wanted to go to the Imperial Palace. He didn't want to die. And the light that reacted with the origin of survival. That light had been coming from the Emperor from the start. That meant his chances of survival were higher with the Emperor. He couldn't miss this opportunity. It was a wise choice, young lord. What was this? He was innocent. The thing used mana. It was definitely a spawn of the demons. Holy power was from the gods themselves. Were they saying that the gods had given holy power to a lowly demon? It was surely mana. How could he confuse mana and holy power? The holy city called that kind of talk. Your Eminence, blasphemy. They would form an assassination squad again. No, there was no need. The Emperor would want to take the child. There would be plenty of opportunities in the Imperial Palace. He would not survive this time. The conspirators discussed their plan. Acknowledging that the infant will be taken by the Emperor regardless, they decide to bide their time and aim for the child within the royal palace. Confident that he won't survive, Isaac, still a baby, is shown sleeping soundly. Unaware of the danger, he awakens abruptly. Sensing something amiss, he decides he must go to Ashua. A carriage is shown traveling at high speed. As the conspirators wonder why the sudden change of plans, a flashback reveals a bright light emanating from Isaac's room. A few days prior, the Emperor is shown holding Isaac, commenting on the strength of the light and how Ashua isn't a good environment for raising a child. Rely counters that they are not a house that only houses manticores, and that they are the closest to demons. He questions if the origin of survival is shining, noting it is the most precious thing they have. Only it is the body of the skeleton king. Isaac, shocked, wonders how they have his former body. Reliance, surprised. Having expected this to be the first topic of discussion, Isaac shows off his ability to communicate and then expresses his desire to go to Ashua. Relies taken aback, but Isaac states his name. Isaac reflects on how this journey will help him regain his old body, which is refined and has accumulated enough mana to fight against the gods. He believes that following his uncle to Ashua will benefit his survival. As they travel, Rely and Isaac discuss why the Holy See is still pursuing Isaac. The paladin explains that the gods have given a prophecy that the saint will be taken in as the son of a god, meaning he will become the next pope. This explains why House Barrett was so desperate to birth the saint. The pope is the strongest cleric, using rank 10 holy spells, and is practically the king of all clerics and paladins, with power rivaling the emperor's. House Barrett had birthed the Pope for thousands of years, but now that the Pope position will be taken by a saint, they are understandably upset. Other houses are also trying to birth a saint. As they arrive at the duchy, they are met with a problem. Guards block their entrance, refusing to let them pass. Despite recognizing the insignia of House Ashua, a higher-ranking official arrives on the scene, revealing that they need to eliminate the child, who inherited the blood of the saintess. Demons suddenly attack, questioning if this is the fault of a new demon king. The demons proclaim that their glorious king has commanded that all saints and sanities are to be killed. A new demon king has indeed taken over. Under the command of the great skeleton king, Lord Isaac, they will kill the saint. Isaac is shocked and confused. The demons offer to spare their lives if they hand over the child. A paladin is struck down, and another berates him for his cowardice. An Ashuan knight vows that they will not die an easy death for speaking such nonsense in front of him. He rallies his troops, declaring that Ashua will destroy all evil, and chase them to the ends of hell to destroy them, including the wicked skeleton king, who forces his subordinates to their deaths, just because he wishes to escape mortality. A demon retorts, insulting the skeleton king Isaac. The knight is struck and apologizes to the young master. Isaac, confused, wonders who is impersonating him. The paladin retreats with Isaac asking him to wait. He creates a powerful barrier, that not even high-ranking demons can break. However, Isaac realizes that this also means nothing inside can get out. He activates his survival origin and unleashes his magic. He calls out to the observing one. Hoping it can hear him, the entity answers back. Greeting him excitedly, Isaac relieved. Thought he was done for the observing one. Ascension detection magic explains that he was created to avoid keeping up detection magic during fights. It compliments Isaac's wickedness and congratulates him for stealing the body of an infant. Isaac is annoyed but tells it to focus on finding enemies. The observing one initiates enemy detection, scanning a 100-meter radius. It reports a total of 88 enemies, all demons, but assures Isaac that they won't be able to lay a finger on it. The paladin is shocked by the number of demons. Isaac decides to deal with them himself, even if he has to use all the mana he has accumulated. Preparing for the worst, the enemy count quickly drops to 51, then 31, then 13. The paladin notices something approaching and orders a defensive formation. The enemy count drops to 4. And a demon urges his comrade to work together to kill the saint. The observing one proclaims glory to the Skeleton King. They are shocked by the sudden turn of events. The observing one gleefully announces that there are no enemy forces left. It detects a shadow lich, which angrily demands who dare to touch its king. Isaac is left bewildered by the entire situation. A shadow lich addresses the infant Isaac as its king and master, questioning how anyone could dare trap him within a baby's body. The lich's devotion to Isaac is described as twisted, stemming from gratitude for being liberated. The lich threatens the paladins, who are confused as they can't understand its language. Isaac realizes that the lich has recognized him as the Skeleton King. Impressed by its loyalty, the paladin leader orders his knights to prepare for battle. But Isaac warns him about the lich's sudden appearance. Isaac expresses concern over his food, the highly concentrated mana source, and the paladin leader urges him to be patient, promising a quick resolution. The lich expresses its joy at being recognized by its master, while the paladin leader notices the demon's sinister intent. The lich advances towards Isaac, worrying the paladin leader. It expresses its pleasure at gaining Isaac's attention, and Isaac, concerned about his mana, orders it to break the barrier. The lich complies, shattering the barrier with ease. The paladins are shocked, and the paladin leader recognizes the technique used as totemization. Isaac praises the lich's work, but warns it not to make a mess. The lich is confused and attacks the paladins again. The paladin leader wonders if Isaac just totemized the demon, and the paladin holding Isaac confirms his amazement. They discuss how Isaac used a holy art that only sanities or cardinals are capable of. But Isaac denies using holy arts, stating it was magic. They acknowledge that it looked like the holy art of totemization, and that it's unusual for a child capable of such an advanced holy art to not exhibit any holy power. The paladin holding Isaac comments on how people tend to shine brightest when in peril. He also notes that the demon went straight for Isaac, suggesting that it instinctively felt that Isaac was a threat and prioritized him. The paladin holding Isaac expresses his certainty that Isaac is the saint. The paladin leader agrees, acknowledging that the demons came for the child, and that even if he's not the saint, he's special. He wonders why Isaac had to be a boy, explaining that due to the Skeleton King's curse, the men of House Ashua had decided. The commander of the Azure Knights declares that he will protect Isaac, the future of House Ashua. The narrative shifts to the perspective of the paladin leader, who reflects on the situation. He realizes that it was foolish to be afraid of the Skeleton King's curse. When the child could elevate the Esha name, he picks up Isaac, promising to teach him many things and raise him into a fine paladin. Isaac is more interested in getting his body back. The paladin leader promises to find a way to save Isaac, even if he is fated for a short life, so that his name will be known across the continent. Isaac is uninterested. The paladin leader vows to teach Isaac how to curse the wicked. Skeleton King, when they get home, Isaac is exasperated by the Ashuas. They arrive at the Eshuat ducal mansion, a grand and expensive-looking estate. Isaac is unimpressed, comparing it unfavorably to his own castle and resources. He laments how he had to be frugal to feed his own people. The observing one agrees, noting that even selling a few statues from the mansion could buy them 10 new castles The paladin leader introduces the Esha mansion to Isaac, calling it the continent's birthplace of exorcism. He points out statues of people fighting the Skeleton King and explains that Isaac will grow up to be like them. Isaac is horrified by the anti-Skeleton King propaganda being taught to children. He decides to join the Holy Empire, make the Emperor his puppet, and turn the Empire into the Isaac Empire. The observing one mocks his pettiness, and Isaac tells it to keep scouting. The observing one obeys. They admire the numerous manticores displayed in the mansion, with Isaac expressing his shock at the sheer number, and wondering how many demons were killed to obtain them. As they continue their journey, they arrive at their destination. The paladin leader orders that his room be rearranged, as Isaac will be staying with him. However, he is informed that they have been ordered to escort Isaac to the annex. The paladin leader is outraged, as the fifth young master had ordered that Isaac not be allowed in the main building. He questions why Isaac should be sent to the cursed place, where people die, realizing that this is a result of family infight. Isaac is nonchalant, stating that he doesn't need to be in the annex when he can live in the big mansion. The observing one points out that the manticores are in the annex. The paladin leader refuses to let his nephew stay in the ghost house and orders the person to step aside. He promises to read Isaac bedtime stories from the Holy Scriptures of the sanities battling against the Skeleton King and teach him exorcism spells, specifically devised for the Skeleton King. Isaac is horrified at the thought of being exorcised. Suddenly, they are interrupted by the arrival of the fifth son of House. Ashua Goel had ordered that the kid be sent to the annex, and he questions the paladin leader's defiance. Isaac is startled, calling him son of a bitch. Goel orders the paladin to put Isaac down and send him to the annex. The paladin retorts, questioning if Goel is serious about banishing a child of the direct line of House of Ashua to the annex. He expresses his belief that this idiot doesn't want Isaac in the house. Isaac, in response, demands to be let go, stating his desire to go to the annex and be read the exorcism ritual of the Skeleton King. Goel mocks the paladin for bringing in someone even dirtier than the Skeleton King and continues to bicker about direct lines. Isaac is confused, wondering if the cleric is a thug. The paladin decides to ignore Goel and proceed to the annex to drain the manticore. Goel, however, interprets this as an attempt to paint Isaac as a cursed child and push him out of the succession race. Isaac is taken aback by this revelation. He realizes the value of the house and its resources, understanding that becoming the saint and ultimately the pope is necessary for his revenge against the gods. Goel, in turn, is accused of being the one who pushed Isaac out, with reports of demons appearing to capture him, being used as evidence of a curse. A paladin defends Isaac, stating that he exorcised the demons and possesses the holy power of the saint. Goel dismisses this, suggesting they simply make Isaac show his skills if they believe he is a saint. Isaac and the observing one discuss the possibility of summoning a meteor, but the observing one advises against it. Goel proposes a test to see if Isaac can revive the symbol of the house, a divine tree that died after being infused with demon essence. He believes that if Isaac is truly a saint candidate, he should be able to revive it easily. The paladin questions Goel's seriousness, while Isaac reflects on the state of Melissa's children, with the eldest missing and the fifth being a dickhead. He is startled when the observing one asks him what's wrong, and he notices it floating in front of him. The paladin urges Isaac to grab the observing one, which he does, surprising everyone. The paladin explains that it hasn't even been 70 years since the tree died, yet they are asking a child who can barely understand words to save. Goel is shocked to see the divine tree revive before his eyes. The tree, once dead and withered, is now shown healthy and vibrant. The paladin expresses his disbelief, attributing it to the fruit of House Ashua's prayers. Goel agrees, stating that the head of the house has also mulled over this problem. However, he also points out the lack of proof. The paladins celebrate, believing that Isaac must have done it. Goel is skeptical, suggesting that someone else must have helped, but the paladins propose that it was Isaac's exorcism and purification. Goel dismisses them, and Isaac, through the observing one, claims that he simply drained the demon residue from the tree's roots. The paladin asks about the tree, but Isaac denies doing anything. He expresses regret over eating the manna, and the observing one demands that he vomit it up. The paladins are now convinced that Isaac revived the tree. Goel however, remains unconvinced, accusing the paladin of scheming to make Isaac the saint candidate. He also questions the presence of another saint candidate in the house. The observing one asks who this other candidate is, and Isaac dismisses the person as unimportant. Goel continues to rant, revealing that the eldest brother, who had supposedly brought Isaac in, had disappeared. He also mentions that Isaac is a half-breed, taken in from outside, while the eldest brother's wife is certainly a saintess. The paladin asks if Goel can be sure that Isaac is of the saint's blood, to which Goel responds that he does look similar. He then suggests that the saint should become the breeding mare for the house, which earns him a slap from the paladin. The paladin states that brothers grow by fighting each other. Isaac reflects that he has learned a lot of useful information. He is glad that the family isn't tight in it, as it will be easier for him to take over. He plans to destroy the house. The observing one questions his logic, given that the house is ruined would also affect him, and he retorts. The scene shifts to a council meeting, where the topic of discussion is the siring of a boy, the second wife of Ali Ashua. Heno Ashua, and current acting head of the house, enters and silences everyone. She questions why Reliance brought Isaac to the main family, despite the branch family saying they would care for him. Isaac realizes that she was the one who wanted him sent to the annex. Goel steps in, explaining that the acting head of the house is questioning why Reliance is answering her. It is revealed that Isaac's father has vacated his position and is currently gone. Henna laments the situation, citing the noise surrounding saint candidates. Relly expresses his regret, and a messenger arrives to inform them that Isaac has revived the divine tree. Goel dismisses this as a coincidence, but another person agrees with Relly. Henna, however, points out the lack of proof. Isaac, observing the situation, reaches out to touch the divine tree's energy. He offers to show them proof. Surprising everyone, he channels the energy of the divine tree, shocking the onlookers. He then channels the energy into a crystal, providing tangible proof of his connection to the divine tree. The council members are shocked to learn that Isaac removed the mana gnawing at the divine tree. They are incredulous that a newborn could have dealt with the mana on the tree, but it is pointed out that this is the only explanation, as the mana was subdued right before their eyes. The difficulty of the exorcism art required to save the tree is emphasized, with Goel expressing his disbelief that a mere lump of flesh could possess such power. Relly defends Isaac, stating that he instinctively followed his instincts and exorcised the mana. He highlights that Isaac achieved something in mere moments that no one in House Ashua had managed in 70 years. Goel, however, remained skeptical, fearing that such an absurd tale would make a mockery of the house. He further cast doubt on Isaac's lineage, suggesting that he might be the son of a beggar rather than a true Ishwa. Reply counters by stating that Isaac will one day become the saint, and possibly even the pope in the future. Isaac silently agrees. Rely then makes the bold claim that Isaac will kill the skeleton king one day. This statement provokes outrage, with Henna accusing Rely of digging his own grave. She proposes a test to verify Isaac's abilities. She requests the usage of the treasury of holy artifacts. The scene shifts to the Black Forest, northwest of the Holy Empire of Hela. A man is seen battling demons, deeming the task a waste of time. He is greeted by the head of House Ashua, Elijah Ashua, who asks about the matter at hand. The Sodder informs him that the deputy head has requested permission to use the treasury of holy artifacts, emphasizing that the request is not for the Holy See. He explains that Isaac has saved the divine tree, and the deputy head wants to determine if he is truly the saint. Eli questions the presence of a saint in his house, refusing to allow anyone other than the saint as candidate to be killed. He instructs the Sodder not to engage in pointless fighting when a woman suggests letting them proceed. Eli acquiesces. They encounter Melissa Schwa, the matriarch of House Schwa and a former saintess. She remarks on Isaac's potential and suggests testing all the saint candidates in the treasury, while acknowledging that the child of another house might take home the greatest artifact. She expresses a desire for someone to do just that, as even the greatest sanities of history could not take them for themselves. She believes that the artifact could be used to track down and kill the Skeleton King. She decides to reward anyone who brings it back, promising a reward that not even the Pope can provide, along with the Saintess' heirloom and secret techniques. She declares that she will give everything away to the child who succeeds. That the treasury is described as a place where holy artifacts and secret techniques have been stored for thousands of years, for generations. The saintess was in charge of maintaining it, and how Suswa was seen as its owner. Only children under the age of 10 could enter, and the treasury was used as the place to hold the first birthday ritual for saints candidates. Their abilities would be predicted based on what item they brought back from the treasury. During the ritual, however, it was a dangerous place where even saints candidates could easily perish. After years of death and loss, beyond its doors, the treasury was eventually sealed away. The observing one expresses its curiosity, and Isaac agrees, excited by the prospect of finding the skeleton king's body in the treasury. Relai asks if Isaac is excited, and informs him that the matriarch has opened the treasury to all saint candidates. He explains that the children of all 5 great houses will be gathering, even the house of the despicable Pope. Isaac sees this as an opportunity to retrieve his body more easily, as the onlookers will be splitting their attention between everyone. Reliance warns Isaac to be careful, as demons captured during war are guarding the treasury. He explains that the danger is due to the presence of these demons. However, Isaac is confident, believing that the demons must be weak. If they were captured, he states that he can easily intimidate them, as even rank 8 demons are not difficult to face. Relay and Goel are shocked to learn that a rank 8 demon and a rank 9 dragon are present. Isaac and the observing one are alarmed, questioning why a dragon is in the area where the first birthday ritual for babies is held. The observing one notes that Isaac's knowledge of dragon should help him, but Isaac is terrified, revealing that he used to scam dragons frequently. He estimates that there are probably around 70 of them, and the observing one realizes that these are dragons that Isaac scammed in the past. Isaac decides that he has no other choice but to sneak into the annex and steal all of House Shua's war spoils. He believes that this is necessary to defeat the rank 8 demons and the rank 9 dragon that fill the treasury. He plans to steal all their mana cores. The scene opens with a grand, opulent building, likely the annex of House of Shua. Inside, Isaac is seen on the floor reading a book titled Book of Holy Arts, 10 Ways to Take Apart the Skeleton King. The observing one expresses concern for Isaac's well-being, noting that he looks like he's about to be exorcised. Isaac laments that once he figures out how to wield holy power, he'll be able to learn holy arts easily. The observing one suggests that Isaac use mind control to make them teach him, but Isaac dismisses the idea, not wanting to be accused of being a demon and destroying the Yushua family. He struggles to grasp the concepts in the book. Through theory alone, Relai enters, commenting on Isaac's tired appearance. Isaac, in turn, complains about needing more sleep at his age. Relai picks up the book Isaac was reading, and then proceeds to use a recovery holy art on Isaac. Much to his delight, Isaac urges Relai to use some attack arts next, but they are interrupted by the observing one, who reminds them that they need to go to the other building. Isaac pretended to sleep, which is quickly dismissed by the adults. As they leave, the observing one comments on Isaac's great family, while Isaac laments the loss of his totem. Relai advises Isaac to store the totem somewhere safe, as it is the first one he has made. Isaac expresses his frustration at having to revive the totem, but Relai is more concerned about displaying it in the best spot. He complains about needing to siphon the mana out of the totem. He decides to siphon the mana core dry, and he and the observing one head off, with the observing one warning that they won't get there until tomorrow. If Isaac crawls, Isaac has a plan and instructs the observing one to open the door. However, they find that Relai has locked it with a holy art placed on it. Isaac is frustrated, and the observing one suggests breaking the door, believing that everyone will think it was an attack and rush over. Isaac, however, is reluctant to use magic, as he doesn't want to go crazy. He struggles to find a way out. Suddenly, he is interrupted by a young boy, Shuri Eswa, the son of Goel Eswa, and a saint candidate of the Eswa family. Shirley, who is 5 years old, is surprised to see a baby that can't even walk. Isaac, in turn, is shocked that this thing is his rival. The observing one is also surprised, noting that Isaac was hurt. Shuri is arrogant, stating that there's no way a little baby could have made a totem that even he couldn't make. Isaac presents him with a glowing object, and Shuri declares that he will be the one to become a saint. He attempts to attack Isaac with a cursed object, but Isaac easily deflects it, much to Shuri's shock. Isaac then uses the object as a makeshift vehicle to escape. Shuri, enraged, accuses Isaac of gathering holy power to attack him. Isaac retaliates, knocking Shuri to the ground. The observing one praises Isaac's shot, and Isaac orders Shuri to become his ride. Shuri retaliates with a rank 3 holy defense art, boasting that he is the only one his age who can use it. He then unleashes a rank 3 holy attack art, Holy Light, but Isaac absorbs it, thanking Shuri for the meal. Shuri is shocked by the size of Isaac's holy defense art. Isaac explains that he absorbed the attack because Reliance didn't teach him how to use it. Shuri is once again attacked, and the observing one questions whether it was okay to kill a direct family member. Isaac dismisses the concern, stating that none of the attacks even hit him. He tells Shuri not to surprise him like that. If he can't even hit him, Shuri, however, is determined to defeat Isaac, believing that no matter what holy attack arts Isaac uses, he can't beat a saint candidate like him. The observing one then attacks Shuri. Much to Isaac's surprise, the observing one, enraged, questions what Shuri is doing. Isaac defends himself, and the observing one retreats, leaving Shuri terrified. Shuri, recovering from the encounter, demands to know who Isaac is, declaring that no matter what holy attack arts are used, a mere baby cannot defeat a saint candidate like him. He is terrified when the observing one attacks, screaming for it to stop. The observing one angrily questions Shuri's actions, leaving him trembling on the floor. It asks him what he is doing. Isaac, however, is more amused than angry, finding the situation humorous. He taunts Shuri, telling him to carry him and stop wasting time. The young boy, Shuri Ashua, declares himself as the one destined to be the saint. He expresses his desire to escape his accursed household and become the Pope. However, he finds himself being bossed around by a baby. Much to his frustration, he is forced to carry Isaac to the annex, despite the observing one warning him to keep moving. The observing one seems to threaten Shuri. In the background, Shuri reluctantly complies, while the observing one reminds him that their priority is survival. They arrive at the annex, with Isaac directing Shuri to go left and then right. Shuri wonders where Isaac wants to go so late at night. They stop, and Shuri realizes they are at the Ashua Mansion's second annex, also known as the Ghost House. He questions why Isaac dragged him there, especially since the clan head had forbidden entry due to numerous deaths. The observing one comments on the presence of at least a few thousand mana, enough to take decades of intense training to obtain. Isaac is excited by the prospect of acquiring so much mana. Isaac wants to go inside, but Shuri protests, reminding him of the adult's warnings. Despite Shuri's pleas, Isaac enters the annex. The interior is messier than Isaac expected. The observing one informs him that the entire building is sealed, with power barriers on every door. He adds that every door has a power barrier cast on. Shuri suggests they go back, but Isaac starts pulling his hair, causing him pain. Isaac seems to be looking at the portraits of previous clan heads. This leads Shuri to believe that Isaac is aiming to become the clan head. Shuri asserts that he will be the one to take that position. Suddenly, Isaac breaks the barrier, causing Shuri to panic. Shuri yells at Isaac for destroying their ancestors' paintings, while Isaac claims the lack of a barrier spell on the paintings. The observing one confirms that the barrier is shattered, and Isaac celebrates his success. Isaac tells Shuri to let's go, but Shuri is frustrated with Isaac's destructive behavior. Isaac finds what he's looking for and calls it a jackpot. He tells the observing one to close the doors, leaving Shuri bewildered by Isaac's actions. Isaac dismisses Shuri's concerns, saying that a kid like him wouldn't understand. Isaac sits down ready to begin something, while Shuri bangs on the door, threatening to snitch on him. He continues to bang on the door. Shuri threatens to tell the adults and get Isaac kicked out, but the adults, including Ashua, arrive and ask Shuri why he is there. They approach Shuri, henna scold Shuri, saying they explicitly forbade entry into the annex, and accuses him of bringing Isaac there. She emphasizes her point. She mentions that many people saw Shuri carrying Isaac, and they found traces of holy attack arts in Isaac's room. Ally confronts Shuri, suggesting that this is all his doing. Shuri admits to using holy attack arts and carrying Isaac, but denies being responsible for the current situation. Ally tells Shuri that he has crossed the line by tormenting a baby, and demands to know where Shuri locked Isaac. He interrogates Shuri. Shuri denies locking Isaac up, claiming that Isaac locked himself in. The adults hear banging from inside the room and ask if Isaac is inside. They wonder if Shuri locked the door on Isaac. The door opens, revealing a crying Isaac. The adults are relieved to see that Isaac is safe. He is safe, though he appears shocked but unharmed. Ally expresses his disappointment in Shuri. He says Shuri should be ashamed of himself. Isaac thanks Ally and then, with a sinister grin, expresses his gratitude for the meal. Having absorbed a century's worth of mana, he explains that there was more than he had expected. He obtained a century's worth of mana in one go. Shuri suddenly shows signs of hypertension, possibly due to the cold or the shock of what happened. With the newly acquired mana, Isaac is now able to use that plan. The scene opens with a grand, opulent mansion bathed in sunlight. Inside, Isaac sits on a table, a large book open in front of him, while the observing one floats nearby. Rely enters, introducing Ashley, a paladin of Ashua, who will be taking care of Isaac from now on. Ashley kneels before Isaac, pledging to serve him until her dying breath. Isaac, still absorbing the recent events, wonders if he's being watched because of the incident at the annex. He calls out to Ashley, addressing her as the, and tells her he doesn't need her. Dismissing her abruptly, Rely looks on concern, while Ashley appears flustered by Isaac's reaction. Isaac then addresses Rely as master, prompting a blush from Ashley, who expresses a desire to pinch his cheeks. She then wonders why there are so many insane people in the family. Rely affectionately calls out to Isaac, presenting him with a gift from his uncle. A ring. The observing one mocks the gift, wondering if Isaac found it on the ground, and suggesting that Shua's wealth has taken a serious hit. Ashley, however, is shocked, recognizing the ring as the Saintess' treasure. Rely explains that he received it from the elders to give to Isaac. Examining the ring, realizes it's the real thing, the ring that the Saintess used when fighting him. An elder ring containing a small miracle of the gods. The ring has an unbelievable amount of holy power, but Isaac can currently only use it once or twice. He states he has a way to fix that. A sly look in his eyes. Meanwhile, Goel is seen lurking outside. Looking furious, he angrily expresses that his nephew's face gives away the fact that it's real. He asks how he can look at his nephew, as if he's going to kill him. He approaches Isaac, feigning affection, and asks if Isaac has gotten used to the house. Has he gotten used to this house? Isaac is visibly disgusted by Goel's insincere display of affection, who is internally seething, thinking that things are getting weird. Goel reveals that he broke the blessing device in the treasury, so Isaac couldn't get the blessing, making the elders give Isaac the Saintess' treasure. Henna explains that Isaac can't receive a blessing, so he needs a ring to make it fair. Sherry's still bitter about the previous encounter, demands to have the ring too, but Henna reminds him that he already received a blessing from the Holy See. She tells him not to be greedy. Goel, frustrated, admits that he was going to pretend to donate the ring to the Holy See and then swipe it for himself. He accuses Isaac of taking it without knowing its value. Goel then tells Rely that he should give Isaac a proper present, not junk, calling the Saintess' item a piece of junk. Rely defends the ring, saying it's an item that has received countless blessings from the Holy See. Goel, however, insists that Isaac is his precious nephew and that he shouldn't give him junk that he won't be able to use. He suggests that Isaac put the ring in the treasury instead, as it will be more useful to him there, adding that even Reliance can't get it for Isaac. Isaac, seeing through Goel's manipulation, decides to play along. He tells Reliance to leave the old ring to him and proceeds to throw the ring to Goel, telling him to give it to the dogs. He throws it. He tells him to give it to the dogs. Goel catches the ring, shocked by Isaac's actions. Rely intervenes, questioning Goel's intentions and stating that the ring is 1,000 times more precious than the one Goel gave him. Isaac, with a triumphant grin, picks the ring Goel gave him. Much to Goel's dismay, Goel calls Isaac his precious nephew, promising to only give him the best things. Rely and Ashley try to retrieve the ring, but Isaac uses magic to make it impossible heavy. He makes it heavy. The observing one praises Isaac's resolve to never touch a rat stuff. It suggests retrieving the ring at night, surprising itself by offering to do it. Goel, in a fit of rage, throws the ring and screams in frustration. He screams, wondering how much the ring cost. He eventually calms down, rationalizing that it's fine, since Isaac can't use the Elder Ring properly anyway. He adds that there's no way Isaac will activate the ring, since it requires absorbing the holy power of 20 people, and estimates that there might be around 10 people. At Isaac's first birthday, the next day, the day of the first birthday, many people gather at the mansion. There are 148 saint candidates, 4,000 servants and aristocrats, including ducal houses, dozens of marquis houses, and even the emperor. Even the emperor is here. Other countries have also sent their saint candidates. Isaac and the observing one mused that the gods must have gotten lazy to sprinkle saints all over the place, while Rely is surprised that so many people came, assuming it was a trap. Simon, a friend of Rely's and head of one of the empire's top 3 merchant guilds, greetings Rely. He explains that every family in the empire is buzzing with excitement, especially since they heard the weak men of Ashua were attending, so they all came figuring it couldn't be a trap. He adds that with Ashua's matriarch putting up such a prize, even the Pope's house can't resist. This surprises Rely. Rely is shocked to hear that the Pope's house might come, but Simon dismisses it, saying that the high and mighty royals never come to Ashua, as they claim everyone but House Bard are commoners and despise being around them. A man warns Simon to lower his voice, reminding him that Ashua is hosting, and it's not for the Pope's family to interfere. He also adds that they should watch their tongue. He suggests they bring something better than the papal snobs, who have their noses in the air, sniffing for something foul. He adds that there's nothing more dangerous than a vulgar friend, prompting Simon to apologize. Cardinal Barrett appears, causing Simon to gulp. He sees Cardinal Barrett, with a sinister smile, expresses his hope that the weak boy of Ashua, who is hosting the first birthday, will be able to bring something from the treasury. To save face, he says he was curious to see the Ashua child, who claimed to be a saint candidate, but he couldn't find the boy. He sees this as a good opportunity, praying that Ashua's saint candidate will elevate the Ashua name. Reliance wonders if they've fallen into the holy seas trap, noticing the increase in the number of saint candidates from 75 to 148 in the last week. He concludes that the Holy See must have ignored all of the unfit candidates' claims, as everyone wants their child to be a saint candidate. He realizes that if those children are put into the treasury, they will make quick work of the weakest competitor, and that they may use that chaos to execute a sinister plan. Ashley realizes with a gasp that Isaac is in danger. The coat of arms of House Ashua is prominently displayed, featuring a star and swords. A historical text describes the boys born into the Ashua family as useless, despite their exceptional looks and family reputation. They are useless, however. They are seen as tantalizing prey by those who want to possess the superior Ashua DNA, and those who want to gain favor with the papal house, which hates the house of the saintess. Many hands are reaching toward the light. A shadowy figure advises to play a little with the Ashua boy, suggesting that he doesn't have to be dead, just unable to do anything. The plan involves mixing drugs into his water and using holy poison to make him a laughingstock in front of everyone, and to show the world that the Ashua child can never be a saint. Isaac drinks the drug water, commenting on how killer it is. He takes another drink. The other children are scared, wondering how many drinks Isaac has had. Isaac demands more, causing the other children to cry and express their fear. One of the conspirators wonders if they used the wrong bottles, as the drink was supposed to give Isaac diarrhea. They decide to keep going, but are confused as to why Isaac keeps drinking the drug drinks. Goel confronts Isaac, telling him not to sully the Ashuan name, and questioning how a saint candidate can't spot drug water. He grabs a bottle and orders Isaac to stop drinking. He offers a different bottle to Isaac, claiming there's no poison in it. However, Isaac throws the bottle away, asking for the one that is poison. A girl tries to stop him, warning that he'll die if he drinks it. But Isaac insists on having the holy poison. He drinks it, the observing. One comments on Isaac's strong immunity to poison, while another child wonders why he's looking for poison bottles. The child continues to wonder. A child suggests that Isaac is testing the poison because he thinks it's dangerous to others. Sherry is confused. Another child, Kina Barrett, the direct grandson of the Papal House, appears, surprising the others as they didn't know the Papal House would be participating. They are surprised. They wonder why the Papal House is in the saintess' treasury. Realizing that Kina is likely to win, Kina is revealed to be the one who has been chosen internally to be the saint. It's noted that all the popes, no matter how far back, were dirty brown, and they wonder if the Barrett family can produce a pure hair color like Kinney's. However, it's stated that it's not odd that the Papal House is in the Senate's treasury, as the Pope is the head of all clergymen, and therefore the Senate's treasury is the property of the Papal House. That is why he is here. Kina declares that he is there to take what rightfully belongs to him. Isaac comments on Kina's monstrous nature, noting that just considering his holy power, he has already surpassed bishops. He muses that this is why Kina is Saint Candidate Zero. The others are criticized for trying to make the host look bad and for being substandard. As Kina walks away, it's speculated that the power of the saintess is protecting Isaac and that it must run in the family. Kina heals Isaac, who had pretended to be hurt, surprising everyone as they wonder if he can already cure poison. They also remark on the quantity of his holy power, estimating it to be at least rank 5. Isaac realizes that Kina wants to use him to show off his power and proceeds to attack Kina, causing his holy power to disappear. His holy power disappears. Kina is shocked, realizing that his holy power was disrupted and that Isaac is stronger than him. He can't believe it. He angrily calls Isaac a schwa trash. Isaac taunts Kina, who retaliates by trying to smack Isaac with a bottle. The others defend Isaac, questioning what Kina gains from terrorizing a young child. Kina asks if they think they can protect Isaac, threatening that they would have taken a bottle to the head if not for him. The others reassure Kina that Isaac is just a baby and was simply surprised. Kina leaves, telling the Ashua kids to get whatever little toys they can to save some face for their family. He mocks them. He declares that the greatest treasure of the treasury is his anyway, adding that Ashua will never get close to the body of the skeleton king. Shuri is annoyed by Kina, and Isaac is furious, asking what Kina said about the body of the skeleton king. He furiously asks again. He shakes. Shuri surely explains that the patriarch said that the one who brings the skeleton king's body will get a special technique. Isaac, realizing that Melissa's name was mentioned, is shocked. He is shocked to see the skeleton king's body tied up with a red ribbon. In front of him, the children are gathered in the treasury. Isaac is among them, looking determined. A flashback reveals Isaac's past life as the skeleton king, where he spent hundreds of years cultivating mana in his old body. He muses that reaching rank 10 would be child's play if he could get his hands on it. He wonders how he's supposed to sneak his body out when all of these kids are aiming for it. He decides to knock out anyone who gets in his way. Kina Barrett addresses the group, announcing their departure and instructing them to listen carefully. They will be departing soon. He explains that the treasury is a holy place where the previous saintess is trained. Sherry interrupts, expressing his boredom with the history lesson. Isaac sneaks away, prompting Sherry to question his actions. Shirley is surprised when a wall suddenly moves. He is shocked. He calls out to Isaac, warning him that the area is off limits and that traps will activate throughout the entirety of the treasury. He continues to warn him. He warns him again. He emphasizes his point. The other children panic and try to escape. Meanwhile, in the Esham Mansion ballroom, Rely and Ashley hope that Isaac is doing well. They are connected to the inside of the treasury through a magical communication device. The person using the device reports live with a summon, which is currently following Isaac in third place. He announces that the door to the first chamber has been opened and the candidates are entering. Relay is surprised that it's already happening. The person reporting announces that Amon Egesis is currently in third place, exciting his father. He then announces that Shuri Ishua is in second place, surprising and also exciting Goel. He then announces that Isaac is in first place, shocking Relay and Ashley. Isaac is shown swiftly navigating the treasury, much to everyone's surprise. Sherry warns Isaac not to go further, as he will only activate additional traps. He warns him again. The other children are crying and running away. Sherry questions Isaac's actions, stating that the trials of the treasury are hard enough, and now they have to avoid anti-intruder traps as well. He emphasizes his point. Isaac finds the gate to the second chapter, and the observing one congratulates him, saying that thanks to the mana cores, Isaac absorbed in the annex. It has gone up a rank. It encourages Isaac to work harder. The observing one tells Isaac to grab Sherry, surprising him as he didn't know it would be this hard. Another child notes that this is why Sonosis are so strong. Shuri is revealed to be the brat from Ashua, with his real name being Shu or something similar. The others are shocked that he's flying, assuming his house taught him ahead of time, but they realize that's not the case. The observing one is flying against Sherry's will, and he asks to be let down. The observing one informs Isaac that it has secured his informant, who is Sherry. Sherry warns Isaac that, while he made it past the first chambers, trial of selection starting from the second chamber, he can die if he's not careful. He explains that the trials were designed to teach Sanis how to overcome fear and choose the right path. He advises to never attack the enemies in the second chamber no matter what. He reiterates, he explains that this is the only way to get past the second chamber, as they will disappear after 3 minutes. Isaac realizes it's a test of patience, but Sherry warns that people have died there. Isaac decides to just keep from attacking, finding the idea of waiting 3 minutes to be nothing. They enter the Chamber of Tranquility, where they are instructed to not let themselves be shaken, maintain tranquility, and be patient, so that it will guide them to the light. Their patience will guide them. They stand in the chamber. A child worries that they are in last place, but Kino reassures him that there is no need for them to endure the danger. First, he suggests letting the meat shield stand in front, reminding the child that a rank 8 demon guards the entrance to the second chamber and believes that the guys who ran ahead are all stumped at the entrance. He points out a light, announcing that the trial has already begun. He begins the trial. He reiterates the instructions to not be shaken. He tells them not to be shaken. Kina smiles. He confidently states that their patience shall guide them to the light. Suddenly, Isaac attacks the manifestation, shocking Shuri, who calls him a mother of astral curse. He tells Isaac that waiting 3 minutes is nothing. Shuri is frustrated. He yells at Isaac, while the observing one remarks that Isaac held out for 3 seconds, longer than it expected. The manifestation declares that they have failed, and those that could not be patient shall face the wrath of divine punishment. They will face punishment. Shuri and Isaac are terrified. As Isaac unleashes his power, Shuri is shocked, witnessing the destruction caused by Isaac's attack. He is shocked. He wonders, what's the deal with Isaac? Isaac continues to destroy the treasury, much to Shuri's dismay. Isaac is surprised to find that the golem is ranked 8. Wondering if it's a joke, the observing one reveals that the golem was made by one of his subordinates, a member of the 14 elite demons, the strongest of the subordinates. He had trained as the Skeleton King. It was made by his subordinate. It adds that this is innate magic, belonging to one of them. Isaac wonders if the golem is working under House Ashua now, or if it has something to do with his body's presence. There he decides he needs to find out more. Shuri asks where Isaac is going, mocking the Ashua boys for thinking they would be helpful. They encounter Nigel Sephut, the third son of the ducal Sephut of the Red Faith. They see him. Nigel thanks them for beating the gatekeeper and tells them to get out of the way so he can enter the second chamber first. Sherry is shocked, accusing them of planning to enter first and place a bunch of traps. Nigel mocks House of Schwa for being cowardly, and Sherry accuses him of being in on it with Isaac. Nigel denies working with Isaac, but acknowledges that they all saw Isaac avoiding the traps. Sherry notices an artifact, realizing that it must have something to do with Isaac's ring. Nigel's companion suggests that they'll be able to avoid all the traps with the ring, but Nigel dismisses the idea. Isaac sits calmly, leading Sherry to question why he's so calm, and that he would never let someone steal from him without fighting back. Nigel tells them they don't need a Schwa anymore, and to stay back. He declares that the Skeleton King's corpse which not even past saints and sanities were able to bring back, belongs to House Seppelt of Red Faith, and that he, Nigel Seppelt, will bring it back. He states his intentions as Nigel walks away. A trap activates, it activates again. Shirley realizes that Isaac was baiting them on purpose. He realizes again they find themselves in the second chamber of the treasury, with all the mines and similar traps set off. They're in the second chamber. Isaac thanks Sherry for his sacrifice, but then wonders why the other children are still following him. They are still following him. One of them, Paris Julius, the second prince of the Julius kingdom, says he definitely has divine energy. He notes that Nigel was dumb, and that the ring just looked like some antique. The observing one remarks that they've all learned of Isaac's magnificence, though Isaac doesn't need their reverence. Shuri tells them to run away, saying that the monster atop Isaac's head is more terrifying than any demon. Paris introduces himself to Isaac, expressing his pleasure at meeting the youngest lord of House of Shua. He introduces himself. Isaac is surprised to learn that the Julius kingdom is to the east of Hela, and that their prince received a divine blessing. He thinks the kid might be useful. Shirley calls out to Isaac, and they arrive at the gate to the third chamber. They reach the gate. The gate announces that the third chamber is the chamber of rumination, and that they should demonstrate their courage and resolve. It announces again. It announces one more time. Sherry and the others decide to follow Isaac instead of Nigel, believing they will reach the next chamber safely. That way the gatekeeper tells them to defeat it and claim their honor. Isaac, remembering Sherry's words about demonstrating their courage, decides to beat the gatekeeper, thinking it's the right thing to do. He thinks he is right. He gleefully anticipates the fun. Sherry is surprised to see Isaac, realizing that Isaac is right, and the gatekeepers are lying. He recalls that the first chamber was the chamber of selection, where Isaac recklessly ran ahead, and the second chamber was the chamber of tranquility, where Isaac didn't hold himself back at all. He deduces that the third chamber, the chamber of rumination, is a hint, and they mustn't attack the gatekeepers. They must not attack them. Isaac tells everyone to go over to a specific spot, confusing Sherry, who wonders why Isaac is helping them. Sherry guesses that despite being a devil, Isaac still has a suave blood in him, the blood of sanities. He thinks that even though it's faint, he must have inherited the virtue of the sanities. He thinks he might have misjudged Isaac. Isaac attacks the gatekeeper, leaving Sherry speechless. The gatekeeper addresses Isaac, saying that he has failed it. Says it again. Isaac continues his assault, while Sherry screams for help. He screams again. Sherry realizes something is wrong, and Isaac calls him a crazy bastard. The gatekeeper comments on the familiar sight, revealing that it's a puppet made from the magic of the 14 elite demons. The lying doll. Isaac tells Sherry to teach these kids the bitter struggles of life, while still being frustrated. The children scatter in fear as the other saint candidates search for the Ashua children. Isaac, using a rank 6 holy art of invisibility, hides with Sherry and another child, a gift from his uncle for emergencies. Paris is thanked by his companions for sharing the invisibility. With them, Isaac gives Paris a ring, a seemingly ordinary ring, with no discernible special properties. Paris is puzzled, questioning if his lack of experience fighting demons is the reason. He can't recognize its significance. He expresses his gratitude nonetheless, vowing not to forget Isaac's kindness, and promising to inform the king of his actions. Isaac, watching from afar, uses the ring to absorb the holy power from the other children, causing them to scream in pain. The observing one praises Isaac for his choice, noting that Paris had the most holy power. Surely confused, inquires about the origin of the observing one. As the other children gather in one place, one of the children uses a holy defense art to protect against the lying doll, who tells them to accept their punishment. Another child steps forward, urging an attack. The child unleashes a powerful blast of holy energy, but it has no effect on the lying doll, and the child collapses. A child asks, "What's going on?" and Amon falls to the ground. Amon, lying on the ground, is confused by what happened. The lying doll continues its assault, knocking Amon down again. The doll ponders its next actions, wondering where the other children, who fell for its lie, have gone. Isaac, with the observing one, has absorbed the holy power of everyone on their side. They approach the lying doll and Amon, with Isaac telling Amon not to feel bad about being weak. As the lying Doll stops attacking once its target is down. He explains that it's better for him to take their holy power and knock them out than for them to get hurt by the doll. Isaac is nearly finished absorbing the holy power, and a surge of energy erupts around him. The observing one is surprised, then hurt by the backlash. Kina Barrett still hidden spots Isaac, and the observing one recognizing Isaac. Ashua Shiri is surprised and shocked at Kina's recognition of Isaac. Amon, despite knowing that Isaac is a genius, is still shocked by his abilities. Kina unleashes a powerful Holy Spirit, surprising everyone with her ability to summon such a being at her age. Shuri is surprised by Kina's power. She wonders if Isaac led the other children into a trap, like he did in the first chamber. But Isaac angrily denies the accusation. Amon defends Isaac, stating that he was only trying to help them with the trial, and even showed them the right way. Isaac, however, suggests that Amon might be suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, having been swayed by their captor. Kina dismisses their gratitude. Amon confronts Kina and the others, questioning their right to criticize Isaac when they were hiding behind him and did nothing, while others found the traps. They agree that Isaac is more of a saint candidate than they are. They decide to tell the adults that Isaac helped them, and that Kina's group did nothing. Shirley tries to dissuade them, but they point out that they would be in trouble if it weren't for Isaac's group. The children are scared. They continue to move, heading towards the third chamber. After completing the second, they are done with the second chamber. The last gatekeeper of the treasury congratulates them on completing the second chamber. It offers them a choice: take their treasure and finish the test, or face a trial to enter the third chamber. Kina tells them to answer carefully, but they're sure about the third chamber. The gatekeeper repeats the options, warning them that passing the trial will lead them to the third chamber's treasure, but failing will result in death. The children are terrified. Isaac, sensing immense mana from the gatekeeper's voice, believes it's a dragon. He confirms that failure will lead to death. But Amon and the others are determined to go to the third chamber, believing that obtaining the treasure will make them saints. The gatekeeper warns them again, but they understand the risks. They are ready to face the trial. The gatekeeper addresses those gathered to become saints, initiating the trial, which Shirley struggles with. Isaac, however, is excited, finding the trial to be simple. A statue stands before them, commanding them to worship God. The children are confused, seeing a statue of a cardinal, which tells them to show their respect to God, stating that only those who have shown their piety in front of the statue can go into the third chamber. Amon thinks it's simple, just needing to kneel and pray in front of the statue. But Isaac is immediately suspicious. Isaac is suspicious about having to kneel before the statue of the person who messed with him for years. Amon thinks it's just praying to the supreme God and proceeds to do so, kneeling before the statue. He proclaims his worship and the statue praises him. Amon is allowed to pass, much to the excitement of the other children. Shuri, however, is shocked to see Isaac, who vehemently refuses to pray. They start moving towards the statue. Kina Barrett explains that praying is taught by the Holy See, instructing them to watch carefully. She demonstrates the proper way to worship the supreme God. Amon and another child decide to follow suit. The statue praises them, saying they are worthy of glory and honor. Amon is shocked by their actions, questioning if they are giving up and choosing death. He decides to do it as well, but hesitates. The statue questions Isaac's refusal to kneel, leading the other children to wonder if he has an issue with his faith. And Kina suggests that Isaac might be trying to get his saint candidate position taken away, knowing that it will all be recorded. He concludes that it's over for Isaac, regardless of his talent, if he has no faith. The statue calls Isaac the child of the saintess and admonishes him for acting disrespectfully, to which Isaac responds with defiance, stating he would rather die. Isaac tells it that it can kill him. The statue then starts attacking Isaac with dark energy, declaring that those who disrespect it will die. Isaac curses at the statue, attempting to destroy it, while the observing one warns him of the danger. The statue is only slightly damaged. Praising Isaac's attack, Isaac is surprised, and the statue declares that Isaac has passed and can now move to the third chamber. Kina and the others are shocked, questioning how Isaac could pass without praying. The observing one explains that Isaac is the only one who has the right to enter the third chamber. As he showed his faith in God, it questions if they understand, revealing that Isaac did not kneel to a statue, but to God, asking if their faith tells them to bow down to idols. They are shocked with Shiri, realizing that, even though it's in the form of their God, a statue is still an idol. Amon agrees, pointing out that texts say not to bow down to statues, even if they are in the image of their God. The statue commends Isaac for not losing his faith in the face of death. But Isaac tells the observing one to shut up. Kina finds the situation unacceptable, arguing that Isaac is a baby who can't even speak properly, and there's no way to tell if he refused to kneel because of his faith. Isaac agrees, saying it's just anger. But Kina insists that if Isaac has that much faith, he should have a stigmatica. Isaac is surprised to learn about stigmatica, a scar that appears on the body due to holy powers. The observing one confirms that Isaac doesn't have a stigmatum, confusing the others, as all saint candidates should have one. Kina states that among all the saint candidates, Isaac is the only one without a stigmatum, which the statue finds perplexing. Kina explains that it's because Isaac is a baby and hasn't developed one yet, but the others are still confused. Shirley angrily asserts that babies don't need stigmatas, and Gatekeeper agrees, saying that a stigmatum doesn't just show up because someone is great. The Gatekeeper asks if they all feel the same way and if they want to enter the third chamber. Surprising them, Sherry is suspicious that they're being LED and so easily. The Gatekeeper allows them to proceed, telling them to go ahead. The gate opens. They enter surprised but cough from the demonic energy. The Gatekeeper reveals that they can now feel the demonic energy from the Skeleton King's body. It states its intention to spare those who couldn't withstand the energy, but deems them out of place. Isaac, however, is excited, finally able to sense his body. He proclaims that his body is there. Isaac marvels at the sight of his body, the Skeleton King's, lying before them in the third chamber. He never expected to see it again. After self-destructing in the divine realm, the observing one is excited by the amount of mana leaking out. Amon notes Isaac's courageous warrior-like face, but Shuri thinks Isaac has lost his mind. The Gatekeeper urges them to turn back, saying it's not too late, and that they should only proceed if they can smile in the face of death. Like Isaac otherwise, they could take a treasure from the second chamber. Shuri is terrified, wondering how they are supposed to break through the demonic energy. The other children agree, wanting to go back and choose an item from the second chamber. Fearing they might die, Kina, however, declares that she doesn't need treasures from the second chamber, and they will all advance into the third chamber. He also requests that all traps in the third chamber be activated. Amon is shocked by Kina's rash decision. Kina reminds everyone that no past saint or saintess was able to bring back the Skeleton King's corpse. Not even Melissa. She confidently states that Melissa would never let children die, and that he must be the countermeasure. She prepared to prevent their deaths. She doesn't want others to think she took the easy way out, and asks for the third chamber to be set to its normal difficulty mode, believing that only then will they have surpassed the saintess. Isaac comments that Kina also has a few screws loose. The Gatekeeper agrees to Kina's request, stating that it will make it easier to find the true saint. Among the candidates, Amon angrily blames Kina for dragging them into this, and they are forced to continue. The children scream as they move forward, surrounded by demonic energy. Isaac is excited, noting that it's almost like the demon realm, and the observing one points out the Skeleton King's sublime body. They finally reach the body, and Isaac remarks on how handsome it is, correcting himself to say his body. The observing one notes that he must have been absorbing power slowly. Inside the third chamber, Amon is shocked that all this demonic energy is coming from a single hand, but Isaac clarifies that it's from his thumb, not from his hand, and that only this fragment is real. The rest is a replica, and they continue their approach. A demon suddenly appears, causing the children to scream. Kina is reminded that he has to undo all the safety measures. In the third chamber, the demon, one of the 14 elite demons, and the Skeleton King's most trusted subordinates, trained by him personally, attacks them. It was captured by the papal house, and now it wonders who dares to covet the king's body. Shirley blames Kina for their predicament. Kina tells everyone to trust him, as he will make sure they all leave with the treasure. He reveals that he has studied and prepared a holy art to deal with the demon, believing the treasure is hers. Kina grins, then commands the demon to kneel. The light of the papal house shines on the demon, forcing it to obey. Kina is pleased with her success. Now only needing the skeleton king's body, he approaches the demon, questioning if it is the one who covets the king's body. Outside the treasury, the adults are concerned about what's happening inside. Having lost contact with the demon familiar, they realized that the demon in the third chamber was unsealed. Shocking relief. Count Simon speculates that the third chamber might house one of the 14 elite demons, and relief confirms that an elite demon is present, putting everyone in danger. The elders in the monitoring chamber have gone missing. After turning off the traps, endangering the children, they decide they must stop the ritual and get the children out immediately, as there's no way they can handle the demon. The gate's light intensifies, confusing the adults outside. They wonder if the treasury is opening, and are further perplexed by the intense light. They are told to step away from the entrance, as demonic energy might leak out. Cardinal Barrett is unable to sense the demon's aura, leading them to believe that the children defeated the elite demon. They speculate that one of the children must have done it, possibly Kina, who is praised for her accomplishment. Cardinal Barrett is congratulated, as Kina was the most favored saint candidate, and he smiles, acknowledging Kina's hard work. Goel is also pleased, seeing this as an opportunity for the papal house to gain more power over Ashua. Relies, disgusted by their arrogance. The children emerge from the treasury, much to everyone's relief. Rely is relieved to see Isaac and Sherry safe. Isaac and the observing one walk out. The children emerge from the treasury, seemingly unharmed. Rely notes that they are hurt, but have no serious injuries. They wonder where the children who went into the third chamber are, and Rely remains silent. The last of the children finally come out. Amon and Sherry are called out too, with Goel rushing to Sherry's side. He embraces his son, relieved. Goel asks if Sherry is all right and not hurt. Rely is focused on Isaac. They are questioned about Isaac's whereabouts, and Cardinal calls out to Kina. He asks Kina what he's holding, and Kina is hesitant to answer. Where the skeleton king's body is, Goel is shocked by the revelation, and a commotion ensues as they realize what Kina is referring to. A guard points out a wolf which is carrying Isaac. Rely stops the others from approaching, recognizing the wolf with Isaac. He chases after the wolf with Ashley following, calling it the young holy dragon. They recognize it as the young dragon that guards the treasury, realizing that its current form is that of a wolf, but its energy indicates it's a holy dragon. Relay notes that the matriarch had a good relationship with the dragon and invited it into the treasury, making its presence unusual. He also hears a strange slurping sound, which is coming from Isaac, as he sucks on the skeleton king's thumb. Rely realizes that Isaac is sucking on the skeleton king's body, shocking everyone. They demand that he spit it out, and Kina is horrified. Cardinal asks if Kina gave the skeleton king's body to Isaac, which Cardinal finds to be a poor plan. Rely defends the decision, saying that letting the host save face is a virtue. A saint must have, but he is dismissed. The wolf proclaims that Isaac brought out the skeleton king's body. Cardinal is shocked as Kina remembers what she has seen. The demon, still under Kina's control, attacks him unaffected by the golden holy arts. It calls them filthy trash and advances towards the children. The demon orders them to die, and Kina screams in terror. A defense barrier is erected, surprising Kina. They realize it's a blue holy art cast by Isaac, shocking everyone. The demon curses Isaac and continues its attack. Isaac curses back at the demon, telling it that it doesn't recognize its master. The demon is destroyed. They wonder if Isaac really brought the wolf, as a dragon wouldn't lie, and realize that Kina did nothing. Rely admits that the dragon was too dangerous, and that the 14 elite demons are too much for children, questioning why their seal was broken. The wolf reveals that Kina asked it to break the seal. Surprising him, Amon confirms that Kina activated all the traps in the third chamber and forced them to go, and almost causing their deaths. They question how a child of the papal house could do such a thing, realizing that things could have been worse if Isaac hadn't taken care of the demons. Cardinal is furious, believing that Isaac beat Kina, but others find it amazing that a boy, who can't even be a saint, is so strong. Speculating that Ashua has been planning on rebuilding, Isaac is urged to spit out the bone, but he continues to suck on it, finding the mana delicious. Goel tries to take the bone away, but Isaac is too strong. Isaac continues to absorb the mana. Rely is amazed that Isaac has outdone himself, thinking the matriarch will be overjoyed. Henna smiles, thinking that they can finally track down the skeleton. King using tracking arts. Now that they have his body, Isaac continues to enjoy the bone. They try to take it away, but Isaac holds on tight. Isaac runs away with the wolf, telling everyone to never see each other again. The scene transitions to a room where Henna is searching Isaac's poop for something, but she can't find it. Isaac watches as they struggle to remove the bone from his mouth. He is more concerned about what happened. Inside the treasury, he recalls the demon attacking him, unable to recognize its master, and Isaac absorbing its mana. The demon recognized the mana and realized it was its master. It expressed its joy, believing its world would end when its master passed away, but always knew he would return to life. It swore to serve its master, but Isaac tells it to shut up as he vanishes. As he had many questions to ask, the observing one mentions that the papal house captured the demon. Isaac decides to look into it later, then notices that he is still holding the bone in his stomach. As he was offered a milk bottle, Reliance urges Isaac to poop, offering him laxatives. An elder warns that they might all be executed if the matriarch finds out, even suggesting that she might cut open Isaac's stomach. Though Rely doubts she would go that far with a grandchild, despite having done it to her son before. The observing one reminds them that Melissa is away on a pilgrimage with the patriarch. Isaac sees this as an opportunity to finish absorbing the mana and escape. Before she gets back, Goel suddenly appears, telling Rely to come with him. As the matriarch is calling for him, Isaac is shocked, wondering if Melissa has already arrived, as she's never returned so fast from a pilgrimage. He's terrified, wondering if it's because of him. He realizes that it's too dangerous, as he hasn't absorbed all the mana yet, and fears that Melissa will cut his stomach open. He panics. Goel brings in a chest full of gifts for Isaac. Surprising everyone, Rely teases Goel, who informs him that they just received a voice message from Melissa, saying she's on her way back. Isaac is shocked to hear this. A messenger from the papal house arrives with a tribute, but the elders are displeased, suggesting to sell it as stolen goods. The messenger explains that His Majesty the Emperor is showing a lot of interest in this incident, and that the tribute is an apology and a sign of gratitude. The messenger believes their gift doesn't match House of Shua tastes, but he sure will change their minds. He presents a medal from the Pope, claiming it will be of great help to Isaac. The elders are shocked to see the triple crown, a medal engraved with the Pope's emblem. Isaac and the observing one are unimpressed. The messenger explains that it's a medal for Isaac, from the Pope, shocking everyone. Rely is asked to accept it on Isaac's behalf, but Isaac demands that it be given to him directly. The messenger confirms that he was ordered to hand it to Rely, not Isaac. Rely smirks, and an elder is outraged, questioning how they dare give Isaac's medal to a family member, and if they are in their right mind. He explains that giving a medal to the family means that the recipient is deceased, shocking Isaac. The messenger tries to clarify the Pope's intentions, saying he simply wanted it handed to a family member, since Isaac is so young. But this doesn't explain the ribbon. They realize that the papal house might not know that the sunflower is for honoring fallen soldiers, meant to be put in the coffin, and Isaac is horrified. An elder angrily accuses them of mocking the curse of Ashua, and Goel tries to calm him down, reminding him not to speak recklessly as a representative of House of Shua, as it might antagonize the papal house. He warns that escalating the situation will bring trouble to the family. Goel never knew it was possible to make them know their place by giving such a hateful gift, suspecting it to be the cardinal's handiwork. Even though he's from his maternal family, he thinks that Reliance won't be able to run wild now, which pleases him. Goel tells Reliance to accept the gift and show gratitude, but Isaac is defiant. The messenger activates the medal, revealing a holy flame, shocking everyone. They recognize it as the holy flame, wondering who would use it. Rely is shocked to see the medal, The messenger is attacked by the holy flame, and Isaac is revealed to be the one using it. Having taken the medal,